Todd Coley here with the Texan Sports Minute with Texan basketball assistant coach Marlin Cloudy. Marlin, thank you so much for stopping by today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Now, you're familiar with the Texan basketball team. You played a little while here, finished up in '09. So I guess explain the difference between your time here as a player versus your time here as a coach.
Well, as a player, you think you put in a lot of time, with practices and study halls and everything, but, as a coach, that time spent preparing and getting ready for opponents is even more magnified. You spend a lot of time, not only coaching, but also recruiting and, mentoring the players, now that I'm a coach. So, more time spent, but it's the same, hard work and toughness that you put in as a player translating as a coach.
Okay, now you mentioned, how much time players think they put into it. So as a player yourself, you kind of able to relate to the players pretty well? They trust you when you tell them how much time is necessary?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the unique things about this staff is, everybody on staff played for Coach Reisman. So we know the ins and outs and what he expects and what it takes to get through, years in this program. So, I can relate to the guys and they trust that I'm telling them the truth because I've been through the process.
Okay, now coming off of another LSC championship season, how's this year's roster stack up to last year? I know, the departure of Chuck Guy, but there's been some transfers, some freshmen. So how's this year's roster look compared to last year? Well,
anytime you lose four starters, the team changes drastically. But I think we got some good transfers in, JUCO and Division I guys. And then also we had a good core of returners from last year's team that have been experienced and were LSC champions. So, the team is not exactly the same, but I think the guys that are coming back from last year are doing a great job of showing the right example for the incomers.
Okay, now talk a little bit about the leadership on the team. I know, Devin Carter's a senior, that he scores a lot of points. He's a guy that guys look up to. So, how they're helping out underclassmen or even like transfers like Tevin Jones get accustomed to Stephenville. Because, let's face it, University of Virginia, Tarleton, a little bit of a change of pace. So, how they help the people that are coming in as transfers and underclassmen.
Well, most importantly, they get them prepared for Coach Reisman. And he said it the other night at the Texan luncheon that, he's the biggest change that these guys have to deal with. And, the returners, especially four-year guys like Carter and Clemens, they've been around him. They've been through the program. So they've done a great job of, just talking to the guys, keeping them upbeat whenever, a coach may get on them here or there. And they're adjusting to the coaching style, but the returners have done a great job of transitioning those guys along.
And last Thursday, you got out to TCU, which, it was in Fort Worth, but it was mostly a Tarleton crowd, as, just speaking honestly there. But now, you started the game kind of slow. I believe TCU took a 16-2 start to the game, but y'all still managed to have it down to just a 2-point game in the closing minutes. So explain what it does for experience for y'all and how it kind of shows you how you stack up against a Division I school like that.
Well, every time we take the floor, we think we can win. We have a chance to win. But playing a high-caliber team like TCU, that's a part of the Big 12, it just shows our guys that, when we recruited them, we told them we expect D1 guys. And for them to battle back after falling behind 16-2, it not only showed the coaching staff, how well we can play as a team, but it also showed the players, that they can compete with a Big 12 team like TCU to the finish. And I think that was a big confidence booster. All
right. Now, what are, we mentioned coming off of an LSC championship season, what are some of the aspirations for the Texans this year? Obviously you want to get national, but I guess it's one step at a time. So what exactly are you telling the athletes?
Well, our big thing, especially with a new team, a lot of new guys, just get better daily. Try to improve, make small steps, and then, you never want to play your best ball in November and December. Continue to get better and, hopefully when February and March rolls around, we put ourselves in position to be, at an elite level.
All right. Now, you mentioned, we mentioned some of the departing players. How is it for Michael Harge working out without Chuck Guy? He's got a little bit more of a workload. So how's he liking that? How's he handling that for you guys?
Well, he got some valuable experience, and he learned a lot playing behind Chuck for 2 years. So, he's a junior now. He's experienced in the program, and he's making the transition well. He saw some things sitting behind Chuck that Chuck did, and he's implemented into his game. So I'm pleased with the strides that Mike has made, being a point guard for this team.
Okay. Now, what is it that you guys try to focus on in November, December, early January, when you're not playing conference yet? You mentioned you don't want to be peaking at that point, but you want to be getting ready for, you know, the real season to start. So what is it that you guys kind of focus on day in, day out during this time?
Well, main thing is just attention to details, because if you hone in on the details and get the little things fixed early, it makes the transition to more complex, you know, parts of the game easier later on in the year. Just right now, defensive principles, playing hard, you know, playing smart, playing together.
Okay. Now, lastly, I want one favorite memory as a coach and one favorite memory as a student here at Tarleton.
Favorite memory as a coach was, it has to be last season, you know, winning the LSC conference tournament down in Allen. You know, anytime you play Midwestern is a big game, but, you know, for our guys to pull that out, and, you know, it was a close game. It was a battle, just like any other time we play those guys, but, you know, to pull that out and win there and, you know, be the actual champions of the LSC tournament was a big accomplishment. As a player, I would have to say the game winner versus UCO. You know, they referenced my age earlier about how old I'm getting. But back in the day, UCO used to be our big rival, like Midwestern, and being able to hit some key shots in that game and help us win against UCO early in the year was a big accomplishment for me.
All right. Now, I said lastly, but I do have one more. You mentioned the Midwestern State game last season. How did it feel to get matched up against them in the national tournament after you've played those guys 3 times already? They're all hard-fought games. You know, you all went out there, won. They came out here, won. You all won the tournament when we thought it mattered most, and then you wind up against them in the national tournament. So, I mean, is it easy to get the guys up for that game because they're a rival, or are they kind of like, man, we just played these guys, or how's that work for you guys?
Well, I think it works both ways. You know, the guys are always excited to play a rival, but, you know, when you've seen somebody for the 4th time, you can basically throw records out the window, you know, because, you know what those guys do, and those guys know what we do, and it's basically just roll the ball out and go get it, you know. So it kind of works both ways, and, you know, like Coach Reisman says, you have to play the game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for stopping by, and I wish y'all luck in the Texan tip-off this weekend. So that ought to be exciting, and you know, as the season progresses into conference play, I look forward to it. I really enjoy. Tarleton basketball is probably my favorite sport down here. You get to watch, especially when you guys have big leads, some alley-oops and some Sports Center type plays. So it's a really fun atmosphere down there in Wisdom Gym. So thanks again, Coach.
All right, thank you.